Sigoni, Sigoni, how's your macaroni?
Hey guys, and welcome back to the second of 5 washcloths in this Beginner Washcloth series. The pattern that was released last week was the Treble Pop Washcloth, where we practiced the single and treble crochet stitches and we created this nice little bobbly texture. This week, we're learning how to crochet the Basic Stitch Washcloth. So be sure to check out that tutorial after you finish this one. Today we're going to work on this Basic Shell Stitch Washcloth, and you are going to need 1 ball of Lion Brand's Re-Up yarn, a 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle. And as I've told you before, the reason why I put together this Beginner Washcloth series was so you could practice the basic stitches while also coming away with something valuable. So with this pattern, you'll be practicing the single and double crochet stitches while also learning how to create a shell stitch, which is a really beautiful and popular stitch. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. To start, we're going to create a slip knot and make a chain of 38. If you would like to make your washcloth a different size, all you have to do is create your foundation chain in multiples of 6 and then add 2 at the end. Now for row 1, we're going to single crochet in each chain down. So insert your hook into the second chain from your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop, and you'll have 2 loops on your hook. Now yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Again, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Now continue single crocheting in each chain across. And now we've reached the end of row 1. To continue on to row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. So we're looking at the back side of the row we just completed. Now single crochet in each stitch across. So insert your hook into this very first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you'll have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. Now single crochet in each stitch across. All right, and now we've reached the end of row 2. So for row 3, we're going to repeat row 2. So we'll chain 1, turn our work, and single crochet in each stitch across. All right, and now we've hit the end of row 3. And now we're about to get to the fun part. So for row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn your work, single crochet in the first stitch. Now skip 2 stitches and place 5 double crochet in the next stitch. So we're going to skip these 2 stitches and work our 5 double crochet into this stitch here. So yarn over, insert your hook into the 3rd stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's your first double crochet. Now go ahead and place a second double crochet into this same stitch. Okay, now we have 2 double crochet and we're going to put 3 more all in this same stitch. Okay, so there are our 5 double crochets all in one stitch, and that is called a shell stitch. Now skip 2 single crochet and place a single crochet into the next stitch. So these 2 stitches we're skipping, and we're inserting our hook into that 3rd stitch, and we're making a single crochet. Now repeat this same pattern to the end. So we're going to skip 2 single crochet, so 1, 2, and then we're going to place 5 double crochet into the next. So our next shell is going to be into that 3rd stitch. So skip, skip, shell. So insert your hook into that 3rd stitch and place 5 double crochet all into this one stitch. Now again, skip 2 single crochet and single crochet into that 3rd stitch. Skip 2 single crochet and place a shell into the next stitch. Now repeat this same pattern until you reach the end of the row. Now we've reached our last shell, and we're going to skip these 2 stitches and place a single crochet into our very last stitch. All right, and so this is what your first row should look like. So you should have 6 shell stitches. Now for row 5, we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. Place 2 double crochet into this very first single crochet. And this is going to be a half shell. Now skip the next 2 stitches, so these next 2 double crochet, and single crochet into this middle double crochet. Now skip the next 2 double crochet and place 5 double crochet into this single crochet here. So 1, 2, 3, and you see how it's getting a little tight? It's okay to move your stitches around. Don't be afraid to pull them, especially with this cotton yarn. They're not going anywhere. And 5. Now again, we're going to skip these 2 double crochet and place a single crochet into this middle double crochet, and then place your next shell stitch into the next single crochet. So we're skipping those 2 double crochet. There you go. So you have 2 shells. Now repeat this pattern where you skip 2 double crochet, single crochet into the middle double crochet, and then place your shell stitch into the next single crochet. And now we're going to place our last single crochet into this middle double crochet and place 3 double crochet into this last stitch. So we're working another half shell into this last stitch. And this is what your work should look like after round 5. So you have 2 half shells on each side, and you'll have 5 full shells in the middle. Now for row 6, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Single crochet in that very first stitch. Skip the next 2 double crochet and place 5 double crochet into the single crochet stitch here. So 1, and remember, it's okay to move your stitches over if you don't feel like there's enough room, and 5. All right, now skip the next 2 stitches, which is here, and single crochet into that middle double crochet, and place another shell stitch into your next single crochet. And repeat the same pattern down the row. All right, and we're going to skip these last double crochets. So there's 3 here. There's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and then your chain 3 at the end. We're going to single crochet into that top chain of the chain 3. And that's the end of row 6. So this is what your work should be looking like. Now for rows 7 through 26, we're going to repeat rows 5 and 6. So remember that row 5 begins with a half shell and row 6 begins with a single crochet. So we'll go over row 5 one more time. So row 7, we're going to repeat row 5. So chain 3, turn your work, place 2 double crochet into that same stitch. So this single crochet, and that's your half shell. Then skip the next 2 double crochet and single crochet into that middle double crochet and create a shell stitch into that next single crochet. And that's how you begin round 7. And now that I've reached the end of round 7, we're going to skip those last 2 double crochets and place 3 double crochet into that last stitch to create your half shell. So continue repeating rows 5 and 6 until you reach row 27. Okay, so I've just reached the end of row 26, and now for rows 27 through 29, we're just going to single crochet in each stitch across. So chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet in each stitch. All right, and I've reached the end of row 29, and so all that's left to do is to cut your yarn and tie off your work. So we'll tie off our work by yarning over and pulling that strand all the way through and pulling tight to secure that knot. And that is it for the Basic Shell Stitch Washcloth. Now all that's left to do is to go ahead and weave in your ends. And that's it for today's tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me through this Beginner Washcloth series. If you like this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up. And if you're ready to make another beginner washcloth with me, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you next time.